is your dog dragging you on leash every time you go for a walk? Then this tutorial is for you. We're going to be working on loose leash walking today. We're going to teach our puppies how to walk on a nice loose leash. So today I have Flash, the golden retriever, to help me out, and my name is Camille. I'm with Positive Futures. The first thing we want to start with outside is really working on attention in the outside world. If your puppy can't really just give you eye contact at all when you're outside, it's unlikely they're going to be able to follow your direction as you're moving. So one of the things I love to do with puppies when we're outside is to work on the look cue. And the way you can start it is to just have a nice yummy treat in your hand, put it in front of your dog's nose, point at your face, and reward your puppy for looking up at your face. Good. So again, I'm going to treat in front of the nose, point at my face. As soon as my dog looks up, I'm going to reward. And I'll do that 3 to 5 times, so just to kind of get the concept going. Good job. And once my dog kind of gets and is looking up readily, I'll stop luring. So I'll use empty hand, point at my face, and reward my puppy for looking up. Flash. Yes, very good. Flash. Yes, very good. Nice. Flash. Very good. Nice. So once we have this baseline of attention and I can get my dog to look up at me, then we can start to add a little bit of motion. So with loose leash walking, it's really useful to break it down into really small pieces. We tend to have a hard time with it because we move too fast and we expect too much of our dogs. So we want to break it down in tiny pieces. So we're going to start with just taking 1 step. So my dog is next to me. We're ready. You ready? Let's go. Nice. And so I'm going to take 1 step and pretty much reward him right there. Ready? Yes. Good boy. Nice. And I'm marking as I'm stopping, right? So when you take 1 step, it's a little bit challenging because you pretty much have to step and mark. So say yes at the same time. And that is to keep my dogs focused on me and for them to also stop when I stop so that they don't just keep going and then they get at the end of the leash. You ready? Let's go. Yes. Good boy. Yes. Yeah. And if my puppy gets ahead of me or starts getting a little bit too close to the end of the leash, I'm just going to kind of move backwards to reset him. Flash. Let's go. Yes. Nice. Yes. Nice. And I'm always also rewarding in the same spot. Even though he stopped ahead of me, the cookie always comes right here. And that is to encourage him to be close to me so he knows this is the cookie position. So if I hang out here all the time, I'm always going to get a cookie versus just being way ahead of me. Ready? Yes. Good boy. And when you switch sides, you'll also want to switch your leash hand, right? So you want your food hand to be the closest hand to your dog. Right. So that you're not crossing yourself over awkwardly to try to feed them. So when I switch sides, my leash switch sides so that my dog is always, yes, close to my food hand. Very nice. Yes. More steps in. Ready? Yes. Good job. Let's go. Good. If my puppy gets too fast, I'll stop. Get his attention back. Yes, go boy. Yes. Yes. The main rule of loose leash walking is we can't keep going forward if the leash is tight. So every time the leash gets tight, we stop moving and we kind of go a little bit backwards so that my puppy gets back to being focused with me. Yes, and then we start moving again. Good boy. Nice. Yes. Yes. I know, you went too fast, you have to come backwards. Yes. So even on that one, he was ahead of me. The leash was still nice and loose, so I still marked yes and rewarded him here. So again, the reward always comes in the same spot. So I'm not chasing him down, trying to put food in his mouth. Yes, the food is here, so he knows to come and get it right there. And another thing that you can do as well, on top of using food rewards, you can use go sniff as a reward for nice, polite walking. So I know he really wants to check out that corner because he just pulled me to it 2 seconds ago. So I'm going to take 2 more steps towards it without pulling, and he'll get to go sniff. You ready? Good. Okay, go sniff. So I'll give him this go sniff cue, and then for about 20 to 30 seconds, I'll follow him around. So wherever he wants to go, whatever he wants to do, if he's playing with the water. Did you not see the puddle before you stepped in it? You didn't you? way more fun than sniffing. Oh, don't eat it. No, don't eat stuff in there. Good job. And then after the 20 or 30 seconds, when I'm ready, let's go. I'll cue let's go, and then we'll start walking. Hey, good job. And as we start taking more and more steps, as my dog progresses and gets better at it, then I'll start doing a lot of praising and verbally talking to my dog as we're walking. Let's go. Go boy. Nice. What a good puppy. Very good. Nice. And that allows me to delay the treat, so I don't have to treat him every 2 to 3 steps anymore. But I'm still keeping his attention on me by looking at him and talking to him as we're walking. Good job. What good. So to help with success, one of the things that you want to start is practicing in a really calm, quiet, boring environment. So even starting inside the house is perfectly fine, of working those 2 or 3 steps, reward, 2 steps, reward, and then moving to the front yard or driveway, down the street, you know, in front of your house, so that it's pretty familiar and boring to your dog, and there's not a whole lot of distractions and exciting things going on. Make sure to be consistent, right? Every time my dog pulls, every single time I stop. My dog never takes to take 1 step if they're pulling. One of the things that you can do if you have a large dog is to have your leash around your hand and keep it nice and centered to your core. That way when they get to the end of the leash, you're not knocked off balance and following them. Because every step you take when they pull is a reward, right? Your dog learns that it works. If I pull, I get to keep going where I want to go. So be super consistent. If the leash is tight, we cannot keep going. Make sure to use really high value treats, especially once you start moving to outdoors area, or if you move to a new area, just because again, you're competing with lots of distractions. So you have to have something of value so that your dog puts in the effort of actually staying close to you and putting, you know, the amount of effort that required to have that nice attention when walking, versus just completely ignoring you and going after everything that they want. Also, age plays a big part into this. So very young puppies tend to be really good at leash walking because they walk really slowly. Once they get to be teenagers and, you know, early adults, that's usually when you'll have the worst pulling, because they want to explore everything and they have so much energy, and now they're powerful and they can kind of play with you and see what they can get away with. So that's a time where, you know, you want to make sure that you invest the time into practicing loose leash walking. Make sure you keep your walks short. Don't try to go for 5 miles when you're working on loose leash walking, because it's going to be really frustrating for everybody involved. So, you know, nice short walks around the neighborhood. For exercise, if you need, you know, if you live in an apartment and you need your dog to still be able to run, bring a long line, so 20-foot or 30-foot line. Go to a park and let your dog run, because that way it's completely different, right? They're not practicing loose leash walking, they're just running, and then that way you're not rewarding any pulling, but you're also having your dog exercise and run around and still have that nice little outlet for their energy. Good job, Mr. Flash. So I hope you enjoyed our video. Check back in for more coming up.